I created this app yesterday afternoon. It's working on Android and iOS. It's got push notifications, auth, camera integration, even AI features. All of the stuff that these AI app builder platforms seem to skip. But the part that's important to understand is that building fast with AI is just a parlor trick now. Anyone can generate an app code base fast, and I think we're all feeling the fatigue of these speedrun AI app slop demos. The real question is whether this thing will still be working in 3 years and can carry a meaningful user base and hopefully a functioning revenue model. So in this video, I'm not going to talk about speed. I'm going to talk about durability and the process for building a real mobile app. If you want to build a mobile app and you don't have coding experience, you basically have 3 options. Option 1 is not to use AI and to just learn how to code. But that'd be a pretty ballsy option since even professional software engineers are now not choosing it. Option 2 is to use an online AI app builder platform, Lovable, Base44, Rork, yada yada yada. Option 2 is built around making aspirational promises, and they work by abstracting everything away, including the parts you actually need to control, like your user's journey through the app, what problem it solves, and if your app is a paid offering, what your revenue model is. That's the whole reason you're building this thing, right? So settle into the idea that getting a real app into the App Store, one that serves a genuine purpose in the market, is a challenge. And if you do it, that's something to be really proud of. Which brings me to option 3. Option 3 is locally running AI agents like Claude Code or Cursor or Anti-Gravity, which, let's face it, for a non-technical builder can be overwhelming. And that's why option 2 exists. But option 3 is where the reality of building a mobile app with AI lives. You really don't need to know how to write code, but you do need a roadmap through the layers of abstraction. Which parts you can delegate and which parts the AI has no business attempting and that you must understand yourself. Splitwise is an expense sharing app. It's a really very simple idea, but it has a very solid revenue model. I'm not going to be building a cheap clone or trying to compete with it, but I live in Spain and restaurants here can be very rigid when it comes to bills and the way bills are split between groups of friends. It's a real pain point for us. The first version will be free and simple, and I can think about advanced features and monetization in version 2. And this is an important point, by the way, because in my experience teaching mobile app development, a lot of builders seem to have a tendency to over-scope version 1 and then they get lost and they never ship anything. The better strategy is to get the most basic possible MVP into the App Store. I'm a big believer in soft launches. You don't have to market the app aggressively just because it's in the App Store. Version 2 can follow right on the heels of version 1. You don't need to compromise anything by shipping early, but you see genuine progress this way. First, I'll plan the app. Then I'll design the UI. And after that, I'll boot up an empty shell that I can install directly onto my phone. And finally, Claude Code will build out the app as I watch it happen on my device. Now, I actually really like to use Claude on the web for planning. It just helps me cognitively separate out the planning stage from the implementation stage. So here is the conversation that I had with Claude, starting with the basic concept, and then Claude gave me some technical recommendations and flagged the trade-offs that I would need to make. Then we talked about the design and what vibe I wanted to go for with the app. And we agreed on a balance between playful, like the app Monzo, and Revolut, which is more refined. ChatGPT recently upgraded its image generator, so I went with that to tease out a home screen logo, and then I went to polish it up in Canva and also created a splash screen version. At this point, Claude was able to write me up a detailed prompt for Google Stitch. Google Stitch, of course, is a design tool, and the idea here is to start with a design prompt so that your color palette and typography get standardized into a theme file in the app. Then there's another prompt for the components, like the buttons and the cards. And finally, there's the prompt for the screens themselves. With all this ready, it was time to jump into Claude Code, which I personally like to run inside of VS Code. Most of these tools are completely free to use, the main exception of course being Claude Code itself. This is Mosaic, a little tool I built for myself. It just runs the scaffolding commands automatically, you don't need it. I'm just using it because I do this process a lot. These commands scaffold a folder with an empty React Native app inside of it, and another folder that I'll use later for my backend. And with that basic scaffolding done, I can run the main Claude Code prompt. Now, this did take a little while, and at a certain point, it stopped me to ask for the design files from Google Stitch. At this point, if you're already a bit confused, I get it. Mobile app development with Claude is a process. It's more complex than making web apps. Mobile apps are incredibly powerful because they can interface with the internals of your mobile phone. I'm talking about camera, haptics, GPS, push notifications, and a million other interfaces that web apps just can't do. And so to make all of this work, we have to literally install the app that Claude is writing onto our device. You make a change in the code and the app updates in real time. But at the same time, this code can interact with your phone's camera and other internal hardware. And that is the function of a tool called Expo. To make this happen, we send the code up to a free service called Expo Application Services to be built. EAS returns a simple QR code, and I've got the app installed with the home icon and everything ready to go. Then Claude can just keep building. And here's the app. I built a version for both Android and iOS. The idea is that only the person who takes the photo of the receipt in the restaurant needs to register an account, and the OpenAI integration will process the image and separate out all of the food items. And they can even edit the items in case the AI didn't get it fully right on the first try. Then the iPhone user can scan the QR, and now everyone at the table can just tap the items that they had. And then everyone knows what they're paying. Note that all of this can happen before uploading to TestFlight or to the Play Store. This is a full development environment with all of the phone's hardware available. And this is crucial for mobile app development. It's not talked about enough in tutorials and in other AI app builder platforms. This is how you create a real app that you can iterate on and improve upon as time goes on. If you'd like to take your mobile app idea off the ground, I have a private community where I take you through all of this process, and we prioritize creating real apps with AI as opposed to toy apps and demos. And if you'd like to know more about this concept of installing a development environment on your phone, this would be the video to watch next. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.